Our next presenter is Corey Carter. Corey lives in Davenport and attends Davenport West High School. The title of his project is Iowa Kid, Iowa Dirt, Iowa Produce, Iowa Students.
Hoover Uncommon Student Award. Iowa Kid, Iowa Dirt, Iowa Produce. And eventually, Iowa Students. Good morning. My name is Corey Carter. I'm a senior at Davenport West. I just freshly turned 18 years old. My project? Corey's Produce. I grow and sell produce. My goals? Become a teacher and continue to grow my business. My roots? I grew up in the blue-collar west end of Davenport. As I learned about Herbert Hoover through our site visit last spring, which I loved, I connected with his legacy in the following ways: humble beginnings, work ethic, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. My first connection with Herbert Hoover, humble beginnings, starting small. As I learned about Herbert Hoover, I realized how hard he had to work to get to do good. I truly believe I'm on the same track. Adapting to challenges. Life is what you make of it. As a kid, Herbert Hoover seemed to go through some difficult times. Without going into details, I can personally relate. My second connection with Herbert Hoover, work ethic. People rarely can see it unless they have fun with what they're doing. I love what I'm doing, and I hope to continue to do what I'm doing. Corey's Produce, 2019. As you can see, that's my first little garden. I still have those chubby cheeks. And my garden's gotten a little bigger, and I've gotten a little taller. 5'5" there, about 5'6" now. Wait a second, I'm forgetting something. My trademark. Corey's Produce 2020. That's my second plot. Business was great, but, you know, can't have good of everything. I had vandals. By the end of the season, everything was stolen. That's my first stand. And later in the slideshow, you'll see how much my stand has grown. And that, my first tractor. My first tractor, my first car, and that's what pulled my stand. Everywhere. Just down the block. Corey's Produce, 2021, 2022. And the first photo, that's where I learned sweat equity. I worked with a farmer, and I got my hands on growing sweet corn. In 2022, I got my driver's license. When I got my driver's license, I was able to drive to Letts, Iowa, Kelowna, Iowa, and Long Grove to be able to buy produce. My first big partner, Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee was my big first partner. They advertised for me, and they let me set up in front of their stores. Corey's Produce in 2023. In 2023, I gained a lot of relationships. And one of my big relationships was Greg. Greg lets me lease the property to grow on and use his equipment. And the second photo is sponsors. Moeller was a big sponsor in 2023. They sponsored my shirts. And then the third photo, the third photo is my first major crop of sweet corn. 1 acre. 1 acre of sweet corn is a lot. Corey Produce now. And the first photo, that is my Rockingham stand. And if you look real close in the photo, you can see the stand, all painted up, new roof, looking good. Also this year, I opened up 2 more stands. A West Locust Casey stand and a farmer's market stand. The farmer's market stand cost me about $1,500 to open. But my second time being there, I made my money back. Expansion. I went from a 2,500 square foot garden to a 15,000 square foot garden. And I went from 1 acre of sweet corn to 5 acres of sweet corn. And if you look at that photo, way down there to that last telephone pole, that's how far it goes. I also tried my hand with pumpkins. I worked with the Amish, and I was able to sell 15,000 pumpkins. Investments. This year I had a lot of investments. A John Deere planter. I bought this planter as backup, just in case the farmer couldn't allow me to use his planter. I also bought a sweet corn picker. This sweet corn picker went from me picking by hand sweet corn, 50 dozen an hour, to now I can pick 600 dozen an hour. And my biggest investment this year, my truck. I bought that truck in May and had it paid off in 3 months. My third connection with Herbert Hoover, entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur is someone who has a vision for something and a want to create. No matter what I put my mind to, I get it done. Entrepreneur spirit, early beginnings. Both me and Herbert began young with big ideas. Community impact. Both of us want to help others as we can. As my business continues to grow, I'm able to help more and more people. Adaptability. Herbert Hoover was able to adapt in his life, and I have adapted every year. This business comes with tons of challenges, and no matter what, I overcome them. Entrepreneur spirit, long-term vision. Just as Hoover had a vision for America's future, I am planning on long-term sustainability in my garden business. Education and growth. Hoover valued education and believed it was crucial for personal development. And I'll get a little later into I'll talk a little more about that later in this presentation. Never give up. Hoover worked tirelessly, even through tough times. And, through drought and through lots of rain and through good business and bad business, I've never gave up. And one of these cool photos is, this is customers from Australia that came and visited me. Community engagement. I love my West End community. That's where I grew up. And they rely on me. And just as they rely on me, I rely on them. This past summer, our local grocery store closed down there. And it caused a food desert. There was nowhere around to get produce. And I felt like it was my responsibility to keep my produce stand open. And in that photo right there, you can see a lady who's been shopping with me for about 5 years now. Long life skills, business management. As my business continues to grow, I have to become more like a business. And this year, I was able to get LLC, and I have to pay taxes this year. Finances. I manage all my finances for my business. From my fuel bills, my payroll, my auction bills, what I sell, what I don't sell, what I give away, and what I throw away. Network and mentorship. Great mentors. I've had 4 really good mentors in the last 5 years. Kenny Thompson, farmer. Steve Kruger, farmer. Amish, tons of farmers. And Andy Zen, a school teacher. Long-term goal setting. Already this year I have $7,000 saved up for next year's budgeting. That includes land rent, seed bill, and any other expense I may need. My 4th connection with Herbert Hoover, philanthropy. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. A couple ways I gave back this year. I donated to the food bank. All these jack-o'-lanterns here went to the food bank, where the food bank gave them out to families in need. Another way I gave back. I donated to our special ed class and at our high school. I donated paints and pumpkins. It was really cool to see them be able to paint them. Another way I gave back this year, I donated to foster kids. These pumpkins were given to kids in foster homes for them to be able to carve. The future of Corey's Produce. Iowa Kid, Iowa Dirt, Iowa Produce. And eventually, Iowa students. Here's my plan, part 1. I want to continue my business. It's my only income. Since I was 13 years old, I haven't worked for anyone else. I want to grow my business so I can do more for my community. The more my business grows, the more I'm able to do. I want to become a mentor, just as I had mentors through these last 5 years. One way I'm already mentoring, Jackson. He's a young man who started his own produce business. I've been mentoring him through his way how to run a business, how to sell produce, and how to grow produce. Another way I'm mentoring, I'm a role model. This isn't my kid, this is my baby sister. She follows me everywhere through the garden. And she drives a tractor, even though she's not very good. And she just follows me where she wants to learn. And I do have to say, she is my biggest cherry tomato thief. Here's my plan part 2. I want to go to school to become an ag teacher. I'm already following that passion. I'm going to Muscatine Community College next week. As a teacher, I want to create programs that connect students with local farms and businesses. And, I'm already practicing by being a guest speaker at my classes, in my high school. Here's my plan part 3. As a teacher, I want to establish mentorship programs where I can be the same mentor to kids that I was lucky enough to come across. Here's my plan. I want to be generational change in my family and plant my own tree. I want to be the first to graduate high school, the first to go to college, the first to own a business, and the first to have huge life goals. In conclusion, the uncommon. The imperative need of this nation at all times is the leadership of uncommon men or women. And how I show my uncommonness? By my work ethic, by my entrepreneurship, and this is everyone who works alongside me, I can't thank them enough, and my philanthropy, by giving back. Thank you. Oh, Q&A.
So you're doing all this, when do you find time to go to school?
Well, mostly this is during the summertime where I don't have school, instead of
Yeah.
October and August. But yeah, I'm a 4.0 student, so I really, schooling is important to me, and I guess I don't know how I find time, I just find time.
So I love your enthusiasm, so I got a question. How do you harvest the corn?
How I harvest corn? Here, we'll go back this real fast. Let's see. It was somewhere. That right there is a sweet corn picker I bought this year. And that thing picks 600 dozen an hour. And it picks it, it goes on a conveyor belt, and it goes on a running gear that drops on. It drops onto a running gear.
So one row at a time, that's basically?
Yep, one row at a time, and I think they're about 2,000 foot rows.
Okay, thank you.
I thought you did a really good job, and I think you're inspiring. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, I've got a couple questions. Well, first, so how did you get involved in this? Like, was this something that, you found on your own, or what did that initial process look like? I know you started in your gardening group and that,
Yep.
but what got you excited about this?
Well, how it all really started is I started with growing the produce and just giving it away. Well, a couple neighbors came, put money together, and helped me build my first stand, which is right there. And we built this first stand, and I started off with selling produce just out of the garden, and that's kind of where it all took off.
Awesome. And then my other question was, so you now have 3 stands, correct?
Yeah.
Or how do you staff those? Because you can't be at all of them at once. Do you have a team that
Yep.
goes to those?
I can go through, let's see, right there. That's my team.
Wow, impressive. Oh, thank you so much. That's great.
I was a rural state, and probably 85% of the economy is agricultural.
Mhm.
Tell us what you learned by being around farmers.
Oh, I've learned a lot from what I've, like most of the people that I work with, that I've learned from are farmers. And it's not an easy business, and there's gonna be good years, there's gonna be bad years, and it's just kind of, I've learned a lot from farmers. That's where I've learned most of this stuff from. I don't know if that answers your question.
Would you say hard work?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work. It's some days I'm waking up at 3 a.m. and not getting back to bed until 12 a.m.
Tell us about your greatest hardship to date and how you overcame
My greatest hardship to date. Well, it's not my greatest hardship, but it was my community's greatest hardship. And that was our Hy-Vee closing down. And from everyone who used to be able to walk to the Hy-Vee, there's nowhere else to get fresh produce. So that's kind of where I came in and kept my stand open. Because I thought about closing my stand down and opening it up elsewhere, but I thought, I can't do that to my community.
it. So by them closing, it opened the door for you.
Yeah, really, yeah, it opened the door to me, and people that supported me before still are really gonna support me now.
Very inspiring. Good job.
Thank you.
Nice job. I was wondering, did you have help with financing the equipment that you bought?
No, it's all my doing. The only thing I've ever pulled a loan on was my truck, and I had it paid off in 3 months.
Very nice, thank you.
Thank you.